I was born in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, the son of a single mother, and life was tough. I remember as a 7-year-old wanting to play an instrument and privately carrying that desire because I did not want to burden my mother further. It was hard enough to put food on the table for her to make ends meet. When as a child you have to think about what you bring to your parents or your parent based on sort of the economics of your life, it's extremely difficult. When I held an instrument at 17, the joy of being able to make music and do things that I'd heard on the radio, that was really great, but there was also profound sadness because I am now sitting with 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds who can do the same thing I can do at 17 and 18 because they had opportunities that I didn't. The circumstances of their birth were different than the circumstances of my birth. And I found at 17 that I was behind and not ahead. I made a decision that part of what the work I would do with my life was make sure that any young person in my sphere who wanted to play an instrument would have an opportunity to do so. Those thoughts and those ideas animate my current work. I'm convinced that there are people, young people, who have tremendous gifts, and the only reason we are not discovering them is because they don't have the opportunity. It has nothing to do with inability. But I do not think that there is anything else a young person can do that helps teach them discipline, focus, perseverance, teamwork, like learning to play an instrument. It's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, right? It's cooperative. So all of those things at the same time, it uses the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain, the scientific dimension of the brain and the artistic dimension of the brain. If we want to do something for young people that helps them to think and to be emotional and be cooperative, then we need to introduce music education, which is them learning to play an instrument. But in addition to, we need to have opportunities for them to perform, because the skills you learning to play A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or a scale in a classroom with your friends is very different from playing it on a stage in a concert setting. To also stand in front of an audience and channel the fear and the nerves and the anxiety and perform that piece. And that combination teaches all kinds of valuable life skills. West Point's mission is to make good people. And I don't think you make good people in a year or in a year and a half. The key to us is to have relationships with our students over the long haul. Music is not an activity you get into and you do for a year and you drop it and do something else. So we are not interested in hit and missing. We wanted to be involved with young people over the course of their childhood. And I think in order to effectively do that, you need to be a community-based model program. In 2011, I founded West Point with 5 instruments and 7 kids. Today, West Point has a budget of $1.2 million, a full-time staff of 14, our own instrument repair shop, a steel drum manufacturing plant, and we now partner with 10 CPS schools serving 500 students a week. Too many programs are one-offs, episodic, short, and we're not developing relationships. And you cannot mentor, you cannot influence on a one-off. In September 2022, we purchased our facility, and it was a tremendous time for us because we were attempting to do work that required space. And after renting space and begging for space and being turned away after agreements were in place for us to use space, a chance to have a facility that's laid out as we need it, that fits our needs, was tremendously liberating. Because for the first time, we could pull all of our programs into one space. Our steel drum manufacturing shop, our instrument repair shop, our Celebration and Steel Elementary Steel Pan program, our urban music makers, and our flagship program, Epic Steel Orchestra. West Point wants to be present on the South Side, a viable, vital community-based, tuition-free community music school, serving generations of children. We are well on our way with the acquisition of our space, but there is no performance space on the property. West Point's mission is education and its performance. So we want to add to the community, to the landscape of the South Side and to the community of Roseland, a 1,000-seat performance hall on our 3 acres. And we are looking forward to the day when we're able to build that, and the young people, generations of them, are able to go through this place, developing their confidence and their competence and becoming tremendous adults.